Hello everyone, it's Adam here. Today's video is actually a birthday gift from my mother. I was lamenting to her about how expensive some storage options on my new dirt bike would be, and she's been asking. She's never I haven't gotten a birthday gift from her in a long time, and so I guess she felt like it was overdue. She did complain about how expensive this was, and so I appreciate it, Mom. This is the Gnome tank bag from Mosko Moto in their woodland color. I would like to get a Trail 16 or a Reckless 10 for the back for like a tube and a patch kit and an air compressor and a first aid, kit storage. That would come later. Essentially, just to kind of get us started here, it comes with a wiring harness right here. This is a Beta 4-stroke 390 race. So what I did was I put this underneath the frame, I put the frame right there. Maybe I'll move this to be above that there. Yeah, I think this needs to go like that, up there. And then that sits right there. So you can see how we have, this is gonna slide down and we'll have this all tightened around the frame part there. These straps are made for an adventure bike. So I guess I could cut them. Can you do that? I guess I can cut them. Because I really only need them to come to like here. Frankly, I don't need them to go all the way down there. So let me mess around with it and I'll get back to you. I've settled on not going over the fuel tank. That way I can peel this back and just unscrew that cap. I'm not gonna ride all the way up there anyway on the bike. And so this will stay down here. This is obviously tightened down nicely, I think, nicely into the frame of the bike. So that's down there, all nice and tight. It's not going anywhere. On the sides, what I did was, I don't like this position, frankly, but this comes straight down off the tank bag and it comes right there. And you'll notice that these zip ties are, yay away from the exhaust. I might regret that decision. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do about that long term. The only thing I can think of is I mount it down here and just avoid the brake switch right there. I can mount it down there if I need to with the brake line. I don't know. I frankly don't know. So if this ends up tearing, there's also are some steel zip ties that you can use for stuff like that, high heat resistant. Now you'll notice on this thing here, they give you these brakes, the Velcro. They give you that so you can cut it. So I can cut here, basically. If I do that though, I am gonna be, I'm gonna limit my ability to go any further down. If I cut here, I can go up if I'd like to. But I'm wondering if I should only cut to the second level and just wrap this here for now and leave it there in the event that I need to extend it later. So basically cut wherever you need to, and then you can cinch it down and you'll have that space to tie it back. There it is. So we're gonna see how this goes in the trail. For now, what I've done is I've kept an extra, so I didn't cut it all the way up to the mark. I kept this extra piece here. I did not cut this. That gives me some ability to go down a level if I need to. But this is all tied off there. Put those behind. It's not going anywhere from that perspective. And on this side, you can see that's all tightened down. And again, I left myself that extra piece to, in case I ever need it. So I've cut it back to there and I burnt that in a little bit. As for the tank bag itself, I don't know. I don't know much about it. I knew I knew it would fit the IMS 4-gallon tank pretty well, better than the Gnome Mini is too small for me. This is not waterproof. You can buy a waterproof bag if you'd like to, or you can keep if you have electronics that you need to keep out of the water. Does it come with a little pack here that's waterproof? Yes. So you have I guess you have this. So you have this, you can go over it to keep it out of the water. Or you can put I have a Leica that I travel with in a dirt bike, and that will go into a waterproof bag, a little 3-liter bag, 5-liter bag. And then I just keep it in there. So if water gets on it, it's not gonna get into the camera. Underneath here is a hydration pack with a nozzle, which is really nice. So you can keep that water mounted directly on the bike. I will eventually be doing some kind of a tail situation. I just don't know what that's gonna look like yet. So TBD. I don't want to, the Reckless 10 is $370, an extra $60 to the Noblin. If I bought something from Giant Loop, it's going to be like $265, so that's a pretty good savings, but I do like Mosko's build quality more than Giant Loop's, so we'll see. But their Mojave saddlebags are kind of nice. There's also the Trail 16 from Mosko that fits tighter to the bike. Again, it's Noblin compatible, but that's going to all be $330 instead of $370 before you buy a Noblin. So it's a hit or miss on that. So we'll just see. Obviously, this is just going to get me by for day rides. I just won't have. I'll have to keep a backpack on me with my gear in it, which I don't prefer. I want to have stuff on the bike. But at least I have some way to carry things on the bike. I wish this came in hot red. It does not, but it does fit. Here it is on the bike. So you can see the profile of the Noblin, the Gnome on the Beta 4-stroke. Looks pretty good. Oh, one last thing I should add. This video is not sponsored unless you count my mom as my sponsor. But I used to be sponsored by Moto, and I had a pretty good discount, but this year they got rid of the discount. So I'm no longer sponsored. So if you want to tell them how that you bought this bag after watching my video, that might be helpful. I have no idea. I'm not complaining. I'm a very small person. I'm big, but I'm small. So my mom paid full price for this, and I am paying full price for all of my Mosko stuff for a while. I still have a discount with Climb and a bunch of other companies, but Mosko is looking for people with probably millions and millions of followers at this point. So I just don't qualify. I thought it would be fun to check out what can fit inside of the Gnome bag. So you have these 3 belt buckles here. Boom, boom, boom. Back here that's where your waterproof case topper is stored. So that's kind of useless space. You do have Molly here, so you want to put a cell phone pocket there, you can do that. Down below is where your hydration bladder is. The way you access that is you unclip this and you open this back zipper, and this opens up where the hydration pack is. So depending on how much you stuff in here, you might not be able to fill your hydration pack, which is probably a liter. No, it's 1.5 liter, 50 ounces. So you may not be able to fill it all the way out depending on how much you pack in there, but that's where your hydration pack is. So opening this, and there's one other front pocket here for probably a pen or a pocket knife. EpiPen can probably go in there too, but that's about it. Open this top area here. You do have another zipper up there with some space, and then you have some pen or whatever, EpiPen things there. So let's see what we can fit inside the main compartment of this bag. Frankly, for me, the biggest thing for me is going to be a camera or a recording equipment. So here's an Insta360 X4. That can go in vertically. And then we have a Insta360 Flow gimbal, which has a Peak Design thing on the back of that. That can go in horizontally like this. So we can put that there and that there. Now note, there's nothing in that hydration pack right now, so we got a lot of space for that. In addition, I could throw in my wallet there and maybe a set of AirPods. And then from that point, I've got a little bit more ceiling space. So let's assume this is in a crate of some sort or in a case of some sort. Obviously it's clear, just so you know. I would be scratching the gun up, but essentially this is a Glock 21 45 ACP pistol. That doesn't quite clear with everything else in there. So we do have here, just as like another sample, I don't like using phones for things, for research, so I could put this iPad mini in here if I got rid of this. So I can unhook this waterproof sack, and I might be able to snake in an iPad mini 7th gen in here. That's gonna be hard, actually. It's gonna be really tough to do. Yeah, iPad mini can go in there too, but I had to take out that waterproof thing out of there. So that's an item that, you might want to carry with you. So let's kind of reset this for a second and go back to the just a naked bag. So in this situation, I have a few subcompact 9mm, so I was just trying to grab a full-size handgun to show you how that would fit in there. So a full-size Glock 21, that will fit, as you can see there, and then you can still put something right there. So that's not an extended grip, it's just a regular grip. This is a stock. I've never even fired this gun. This is a stock configuration, but that's a full-size 45 ACP handgun. So pretty nice, and you got a lot of ceiling space left over for whatever else you want in there. let's try what my most common setup is going to be, which is my Leica Q2. That fits just fine. So I'm going to have a little bit of edge here where I have to zip down, but it fits just fine in there. What probably will not fit is my Canon R5 full frame SLR with my standard kind of kit lens, which is a 24-70 kit lens. That, I wasn't planning on that fitting, and I don't believe it will fit. We're just going to stick it in anyway and see what we can do. This is my most commonly brought camera for motorcycle trips and lens setup because of the versatility of the 24-70. Because I think it's a 40 or 50 megapixel full frame lens, or sorry, sensor. And so the 24-70 gives me a lot of cropping abilities. And it's just a versatile kit. So that is going to be tight. Oh, wait, let's see if we can close it. Oh, Canon R5 with a 24-70 will fit in the Gnome, and still have some space left over. That's my most common thing for a wallet. That's frankly what I put. If I'm on a trip, my Mosko hood 5-liter and my giant loop Diablo, those usually just include my wallet and my R5 with a 24-70. Those can also accommodate, if I'm traveling, those two can also accommodate these two beside it in the tank bag. This will not accommodate these two. But with a Molly strap, like a volley strap, you can volley strap a gimbal to the top here if you'd like to, or a mini tripod or a selfie stick or something. So I know that this probably isn't typical for most people and how they're going to be shopping for tank bags, but I did want to show this kind of follow-up video to give you an idea of how versatile the Gnome is. But all this is out the door if you were putting, or some of this is out the door if you're filling up that hydration pack with a full 1.5 liters. You're probably going to have some issues like making this fit from the height perspective. But one of the reasons I went to a mirrorless from a DSLR is because a mirrorless full frame is like a third, or it's a third smaller than a full frame camera. All right. Thanks for watching. I'm going to put this back in there because this is not waterproof. So you probably should not get yourself in a situation where you don't have this cover to put over it if you're going to get in the pickle there. But at the very least, for day tripping, just riding around in the woods, being able to put my my Leica in there alongside, my wallet and maybe the Insta360, that's already great enough. So, and you also have a little clip here for keys if you want to put some keys in there. But I'm just going to go grab a sandwich bag, a Ziploc bag, and put my registration and OHRV permit in here, as opposed to having to store them under my seat. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Ride safe.